What are the Eagles' weaknesses at this point now? Rookie minicamp starts this weekend. Jordan Davis's contract situation for next year is resolved. Do the Eagles have any weaknesses? What does Howie Roseman have left to address? There are things we're going to talk about today. Did the Phillies win last night? Spoiler alert, they did, and pretty handily. Cristopher Sanchez looked okay. We learned a few things about the Phillies last night. Trending in the AM, we're talking Phillies, Eagles, the Lakers losing in the NBA playoffs. Anything else you want to talk about? We're live. 30 seconds. And a very good morning, everybody, and welcome to Trending in the AM right here on the STT Sports Network. We're live. YouTube and Twitter, guys. You got to make sure wherever you're watching, hit that like button. You hit that share button, and please head on over to the STT Sports Network YouTube page. Hit subscribe. The march to 1,000 subscribers is on. We're starting this show today at 513 subscribers. The only way I can get to 1,000 by kickoff of the NFL season is if everybody likes, shares, and subscribes. I'd greatly, greatly appreciate it. Look, it don't cost a thing to support a local content creator. It's just free clicks, a button. That's all you got to do, guys. I'd greatly, greatly, greatly appreciate each and every one of those clicks, guys. I'm your host, Phil Stiefel, every morning here, and we got a jam-packed show. We're going to talk weaknesses of the Philadelphia Eagles. Where do the weaknesses now lie on this roster? We're into the second wave of free agency. And I actually don't think the Eagles are going to do much. But there are still technically some weaknesses on this Eagles roster, and we're going to address them. How can they fill them internally from free agency? Are they going to wait to see how things play out? The offseason schedule now begins with rookie minicamp this weekend. And then in about 4 weeks, the first set of OTAs happen. So what is Howie Roseman's next move? And what does he have to do to continue to complete this team? Obviously, the Jordan Davis contract or fifth-year option was picked up yesterday. That breaking news was late towards the end of the show yesterday, so we're going to continue talking about that as well. The details, the salary cap details of Cam Jurgens' contract extension came out yesterday. More proof that Howie Roseman is just a genius. We're going to dive into that contract and how that all plays out, and how little it affects the Eagles going forward. And then we're going to talk Phillies and how they beat the Washington Nationals 7-2. Probably one of the most simple, easy, stress-free wins we've had this season. It was good to see. It was good to see something simple happen. You know, an easy game for a little while. So we're going to talk about that, but also talk a little bit about Trey Turner and how that might be the biggest problem the Philadelphia Phillies actually have right now and why I think that. So we're going to get into that as well. Good morning, Little G. Hope you're doing well this morning. Thank you for tuning in. Good morning, Duck. I like Davis. I'm glad he got the fifth year. Hopefully he can get 10 to 15 additional snaps a game. Yeah, I think this is the big key right here. What is the most we can expect from Jordan Davis? Now, last year, he played 37% of the snaps, 388 snaps. The year before that, he was up at 47% of the snaps. I forget now. I didn't pull up the snap count this morning. But he played over 500 the year before that. Is now with the fifth-year option, if Howie's going to keep him around long-term, big picture, what level of snap production, not what kind of, how many sacks he's got to get, how many tackles for a loss, what snap production does Jordan Davis need to get to justify paying him $13 million in 2026, to justify paying him after that? That is a big question. I don't think you're going to get much more than you got in 2023 from him. But I think you can get a little bit more. Can we get to 520, 530 snaps on the season, and will that be enough? That'll still probably be under the 50% mark. Does he have to get to 50% to validate keeping him around? That's something that I haven't really figured out, and I'm not really sure about. What's up, Marshawn? Good morning. Cornerback 1, cornerback 2 could be weakness given a proven talent that left the secondary. Q will be tested against quarterback wide receiver 1 all year. I say weakness loosely because Q is awesome. Yeah, okay, so if I'm reading the room right, if I'm reading the tea leaves right here, Marshawn, you're saying Q's job's going to be harder because Darius Slay's not opposite of him. You're saying Q's job's going to be harder because Keely Ringo is unproven. I do think, I don't know if I would say cornerback 2 is our biggest weakness. It's definitely our biggest question mark going into the season or going into camps and OTAs and stuff like that. At least one of the two big question marks, that and Tyler Steen at right guard, I guess would be the biggest question marks. I could get behind this as being a weakness, or your thing, though. I get it. No, I think Quinion Mitchell, like you, is awesome. I think Quinion Mitchell will be up for the task. I think Quinion Mitchell will be fine. But I like the way that you phrase this, saying that Quinion Mitchell's job's going to be harder because Keely Ringo is an unproven commodity. And yeah, I think it's something that we have to monitor. And but when you look at it, and I went through free agent markets, I actually didn't go through cornerback free agents right now. So let me switch this to positions. I've been looking at the free agent market the last couple days and who's left out there. And let me tell you something. There ain't much left. The top free agent listed on Spotrac right now at cornerback, James Bradbury, Kendall, based off of last year's contract, Kendall Fuller, Stephen Gilmore, Rasul Douglas, Mike Hilton, C.J. Henderson, Shaq Griffin, Mike Davis. It's pretty. They're your top 5-10 cornerbacks available. So you're not really bringing anybody in at this point. If JD gives the team 5 sacks in 17 games and maybe 2 sacks in the postseason, that is very good for a run stopping. Absolutely. Now he's only got 3.5 sacks in his entire career. Now I did see, and I don't really like PFF, but somebody did share something out yesterday on social media that his pass rush rate or score or grade on PFF last year was 65, but then jumped to 90 in the postseason. Too low in the regular season. Probably too high than to expect that regularly in the postseason. If he can just get a little bit more pressure, get a few sacks, even if he gets 3.5 sacks in the season, that'd be great. I just want to see him out there disrupting offensive lines for 50% of the snaps. I don't even care if the stats come, as long as the eye test and the time on the field improves. You're right. Q's job will be harder. Well, yeah, I think we're on the same page with the Quinion Mitchell. I get it. I never thought of it, honestly, with the Quinion Mitchell part of the weakness, so to speak. I mean, I guess in general, with the loss of Sweat, Milton Williams, Darius Slay, all these older guys, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, I think the entire defense's Brandon Graham job will be more difficult. Who's going to be I think the biggest weakness on this team, defensively speaking, is who's going to be the leader of this defense? Who are going to be the 2 or 3 guys that are in charge? Graham's gone. Slay's gone. Multiple captains have left this team. So a lot of jobs for young players are going to be more difficult. And someone's going to have to step up as the leader. Other teams tested Q all season. They did, but there was a little less pressure on him because you still had Darius Slay playing at a pretty high level on the other side. Sometimes Darius Slay was a guy that always stayed on his side. So if the top wide receiver lined up over there, he wasn't always going up against the top guy every single play. But Dory Jackson was an excellent pickup. Good morning, K1. How you doing? Dory Jackson is I don't expect him. If he beats out, let me rephrase this. If he beats out Keely Ringo for the starting cornerback job, then Keely Ringo's a problem. Because Dory Jackson is a nice depth piece, but I would fully not expect him to be able to start over Keely Ringo at this point in his career. Is Adoree Jackson now the oldest player on our team, at least on our defense? Not on our team because that would be that would be Lane Johnson. Adoree Jackson might be the oldest guy on our defense. We've only seen 1 year at Q. I'm not doubting Q at all, but football does have a humbling way of doing it. That's true. It's a good way to put it too. Good morning, Bruce Harper. How you doing today? CJ also is not back there deep as the safety blanket. Now we're hoping Drew, because he wants to be called Drew, not Andrew, is what I heard. Drew Makuba is supposed to be able to fill that role. We'll see. We're going to be relying on two rookies to start this year in him and Jahad Campbell. Very little experience on this defense. Georgia Dogs had the locker room's ears now. That they do. It's going to be a Georgia-Alabama battle because there's a lot of Bama kids on this team too. Weakness. This is actually what my biggest concern, defensively speaking. There's plenty of experience on offense. I mean, I guess Tyler Steen would be the least experienced guy on our offense right now. So, offensively speaking, there's no inexperience. But defensively speaking, I think this is the number one weakness. And while I don't think we need Justin Simmons anymore, I think we do need one more, at least, veteran presence on this defense. Where that comes from, I don't know. There ain't a hell of a lot out there in any position right now of veterans. I mean, if you want to bring in a veteran cornerback, are you going to go spend money on Stephen Gilmore or Sewell Douglas at this point? I mean, that's what's left out there. I want to see which guys on defense step up and bring the physicality we lost. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I want to see. I see, and this is something I've been thinking about the last 24 hours when I started diving into what's available at some of the other, because we're going to get into some other positions. I think that there's weaknesses on this Eagles team in a little bit here. When you start looking at the free agent market, there ain't much out there. This quote-unquote second wave of free agency that doesn't count towards comp picks, there ain't much out there that you kind of want. So the Eagles are going to go into OTAs, at least through the June 10th mandatory OTA practice, and just kind of see what they already have. And then they're going to wait till training camp and cuts. I don't think we're going to see much else brought in right now. They're also at like 88 or 89 guys already on the roster. So there's not many spots left anyway. Until they cut guys or they move on from Dallas Goedert, which now I'm thinking they won't. You know, they're going to have to see in these OTAs which young guys can step up. Yeah, I knew he was like 29 or 30, K1, but that's your oldest guy on defense now, right? It's got to be. Zach Barn would be the second oldest guy, I guess, at like 27. Like, that's crazy. It's crazy how young the defense is. Whispers, Adoree Jackson is a better cornerback fit than Keely Ringo. Look, Keely Ringo is a guy that I'm not sold 110% that he is going to be the guy. What I'm thinking is that he needs to be the guy. This is that critical. Keely Ringo and Tyler Steen, critical years in their NFL career with the Philadelphia Eagles this year. Because if neither of them can hold on to that starting spot for each of them, then after this year, we got to move on. So critical year in Keely Ringo. Keely Ringo, even though he's going into his third year with the Eagles, is still a very young player. I'm not doubting any of the Dogs anymore. My apologies to you. A lot of people out there have to apologize. Just like everybody outside of a few of us had to apologize to Jalen Hurts. A lot of people still need to apologize to Nolan Smith still. We've gotten a lot of the Jalen Hurts apologies out there. We haven't gotten the Nolan Smith apologies from too many people just yet. I had to tell everybody, relax. Remember, Brandon Graham took 3 years before he broke loose. I never doubted Nolan Smith. I did. I wasn't sure what he was going to be. I still don't know what he's going to be, like what his peak is going to be. But I wasn't ready to call him a bust like some others were. There were a lot of Nolan doubters. Nolan Smith has the opportunity to become the best defensive end or edge rusher on this team in 2025. Nolan will be one of the leaders, vocal and production leader. I think Jalen Carter is going to be a leader. I think Zach Bond in his second year is going to be a leader. And I kind of feel like it should be Reed Blankenship, the third biggest leader on this defense, but I don't think it will be. I think that third leadership role, we see extensions given out to Cam Jurgens, and I want to go over that contract and how it breaks down because it's a masterpiece of Howie work, the contract extension for Cam Jurgens. Why hasn't Reed Blankenship been extended yet? Why hasn't Reed Blankenship been given any job security yet? I mean, I've never been a huge Reed Blankenship fan. I think he's good, not great. He's middle of the pack, makes a lot of big plays, makes a lot of big mistakes, gets out of position. Why haven't they given him? And can you make a safety that doesn't have job security one of the leaders on defense? So I still think experience and leadership on the defense is the biggest weakness at this point. Howie Roseman is a slick businessman. When a player is on the last year's contract, Howie makes sure to get sure the player gets his snaps so they can make money in free agency and in turn get us a comp pick, right? You got to throw that comp pick part in there for sure. Nakobe Dean is an underrated leader on the Eagles. He might not play, but we desperately need him on the sideline. Actually, that's a great poll, Dibes. Great poll. He definitely is one of the leaders. He was more of a leader last year than Zach Bond was, for sure, in my opinion. Nakobe Dean is going to be an interesting story throughout the summer and OTAs and camp to see how his recovery goes. With Jihad Campbell, does Nakobe Dean try to push himself a little sooner to come back? Because he is going to. Does Howie Roseman try to find a way to convince him to take a cheap extension so he's around for I don't know. I think the Nakobe Dean situation, I don't know if it's a weakness per se, but it's a curiosity is there for sure. Fantastic point, Cog. Yeah, absolutely. Killian Cooper are still among the youngest players on the team. Yeah, I think it's crazy. We don't realize sometimes how young some of these guys are when they come out of college. I mean, a lot of times, most of these draft picks are 23, approximately. Is probably the average age of first, second, third round draft picks. Sometimes these guys come out 21 years old, and Keely Ringo is 23, I think, going in this year, 24, younger than some of the guys that we drafted this year. I mean, Ty Robinson's 24 and probably older than Keely Ringo at this point, which is kind of crazy because you can always find another. And that's the thing. I think it's very, very interesting, the difference between Reed Blankenship and what some of these other guys are doing and getting extension-wise, etc. Here's a question for you. I mean, because you lose Reed Blankenship after next year, it's another big hole in the secondary, another big safety hole, right? We don't have a lot of depth at safety. You can only extend one. Reed Blankenship or Nakobe Dean. Who do you extend and why? You've got the replacements for Nakobe Dean. But I think Nakobe Dean's proven to be a more valuable player than Reed Blankenship, big picture. Interesting question. I'm going to write that down. That might be a poll question on Twitter. Nakobe or Reed? Only one. We're writing that down for social media post for later. I was just going to say Reed Blankenship. I wouldn't be surprised if Jihad is looked upon as a leader, especially if he produces early. He's also a Nick Saban guy. Interesting. All right, so you're going the opposite way. Interesting. Now, Jihad is going to start opposite of Zach Bond week one because I don't think Nakobe Dean will be ready. But when Nakobe Dean is ready, that's when you start easing you have the privilege of being able to ease Nakobe Dean in. And Jihad can slide outside at times. But I know everybody talks about Jihad in that Micah Parsons role and bouncing all over. I think the Eagles plan on using him in the middle a lot next to Zach Bond. They only roll with two linebackers a majority of the time. There's not many opportunities to have all three linebackers on the field at the same time. Comp pick depends on the contract the player signs. Yes, exactly. And that's why we got a third for Milton Williams with his $100+ million contract. All depends on the contract sign, how they come out. I honestly think with a coach like Fangio and having a core of young players, Campbell will eventually emerge as the vocal leader on the defense. Yeah, you're not going to become the vocal leader on the defense, Peanut, week 1 of your rookie year. Even as a free agent coming in here, that's why Zach Bond wasn't from the get-go the leader, vocal leader on the defense. And why I expect Zach Bond and Jalen Carter to be the main 2 vocal leaders in 2025 on this defense. What's up, TMZ? I gave you shout-outs yesterday. Gave you multiple shout-outs yesterday, and you weren't here. John will definitely be groomed under Bond to be the leader of the Eagles' defense in 2 to 3 years. Yeah, let's just be honest. We only signed Zach Bond to a 3-year extension, which most of the time, when you look at Howie contracts, and I haven't looked up Zach Bond's contract, but I'm sure realistically, even though it's a 3-year deal, it's probably only a 2-year deal. I mean, I looked at Cam Jurgens' contract extension that he signed, and that brings the total what's left on his deal, 5 years, 73 and change. $24 million was given to him at signing, another almost $15 million next March. There's four void years in his contract. Okay? But if Cam Jurgens doesn't work out, after 2026, you can get out of it with almost no dead cap hit. All the dead cap hit is in the first 2 years. When you look at the breakdown of Cam Jurgens' contract, it's a masterclass. A masterclass. This year, it will be a $3.5 million cap hit only for a guy that's going to be making $18 million annually average. It's crazy. Blank stinks. Are we filling in the blank, or are you talking about Blankenship? On other side of coin, Dean is mid. You just like to tear our people down because, your people, are so bad. Nakobe will be on special teams to ease him into the season. And he played pretty well on special teams, Marshawn, his rookie year, for sure. I don't think Nakobe plays this season. That's why Howie was so desperate to trade up for Jihad. Doesn't play at all this season. Interesting, K1. I mean, look, it's a devastating injury. It's a tough injury to come back from. Extremely difficult. Kind of crazy. I wouldn't be shocked if he started on the PUP list, the physically unable to play list, for sure. I think because it's a contract year for him, he is going to push it and try to come back sooner rather than later. COVID-19 waiver season is the reason there's so many. Absolutely has something to do with it for sure. Mid chatter, yeah. We'll call him, instead of mad chatter, mid chatter. Nobody's saying Christian Parker or Clint Hurt's name. Crazy. Marshawn, I think Clint Hurt was at DC briefly, maybe in an interim role somewhere in his career. But Christian Parker and Clint Hurt are going to be defensive coordinators at some point in their career. And not too far from now. I wonder how many more years Vic Fangio has left in his career. I know he said he doesn't want to go anywhere else. He wants this to be his last stop. No desires to be a head coach. But can the Eagles find a way to keep Parker or Hurt content financially here and be groomed to take over for Vic Fangio 2, 3, whatever years away? Can you convince a Christian Parker to stay DB coach for 3 more years with the guarantee that you'll be the DC when Vic calls it a career? Both excellent position coaches. And a huge reason why Quinn Mitchell and Cooper DeJean were so good as rookies. So good reason why Moro Ojomo and Milton Williams got paid, this offseason. Those two are 2 excellent coaches. What's up? Yeah, make sure everybody likes, shares, and subscribes, please. Would greatly appreciate it. What's up, Rick? Good morning to you. Good Phillies win last night. Campbell most likely won't be ready to play till sometime in October. The shoulder surgery he got in March is usually in 8 months. That is another whole realm of things that has not been discussed. Now, Rick, I will say I'll give Todd credit. He was very honest saying, look, I'll trust the coaches, I'll trust the medical staff on that. But nobody's talking about that outside of you. And I like that. It concerns me that nobody's talking about it. I want a confidence meter from the coaching staff one way or the other on that. It's always the mid chatter now. Random Thursday thought. The Eagles have 13 players from Bama and Georgia on the roster. Does any other NFL team have more than 5 combined? I asked this the other day. What's the record from the same college team on the same roster in the NFL history? I don't know. That sounds like a question for some research with somebody with more time than me. I brought it up yesterday. The NFC is better than the AFC at this point as a whole. Howie picked through the mid-draft, did good, I thought he did. Ty Robinson said his nickname in college was Vanilla Gorilla. Absolutely. Absolutely. I know everybody's loving that. Chiefs are weaker than last year. Eagles repeat. I think the Eagles are going to have a harder time getting through the NFC mid-chatter than they are going to beat the AFC team in the Super Bowl. How many times have you heard Kevin Patula's name? I don't know. Not too many. Nobody really talks about him, K1, at all. Not many mids left on the Eagles, but Blank, Dean, your tight ends. And we still technically have Dallas Goedert. What's up, Travis? Been a minute. Howie said the Super Bowl MVP has been in the building already this offseason and determined to get better. Is there ever any doubt, Travis? Ever any doubt that all Jalen Hurts wants to do is get better? That's all he cares about. He enjoyed the Super Bowl victory for like 5 days. It was right back to work. It was the Monday after the parade. He was out there on a field working on footwork because that's what he does. Fangio will be here as long as the defense stays good. No, I think Fangio will retire before anything else. I think at his age, I think he's looking at another 3 years, approximately. The Eagles posted pics of Hurts at the facility working out yesterday. You got to love it. 100, they say Mahomes better than him. Everybody says that. Yeah. Nobody is saying how good Clint Hurt is when he got 2 sacks from Jordan Davis in the postseason. Look, I said it earlier. I mean, the PFF grades went up massively in the postseason for Jordan Davis, pressure rate-wise, versus the regular season. 65 to 90 was the grade difference. Clint Hurt's got stuff out of Morojomo, made Milton Williams a star and a lot of money. He's done well developing those defensive tackles. Why I think Ty Robinson could become a beast is because of Clint Hurt. Problem is Clint Hurt going somewhere soon? Clint Hurt probably wants to be, every coordinator or every assistant coach wants to be a coordinator. Most coordinators want to be head coaches. So I could see him wanting to go soon. Clint Hurt is so underrated. It's going to be a sad day when he gets a promotion is not with the Eagles. So that's what I'm asking. Is Parker or Hurt, can you convince them, financially speaking, to stay here long term, to eventually take over for Vic Fangio? What's the bigger event in 2 weeks, the NFL schedule release or the draft lottery? The schedule release. I think I'm going to live stream the schedule. I might live stream the lottery too. I don't know. Are they the same day? No, the May 14th is the schedule release. I think we're going to do a live show for that. Schedule release will be fire. It absolutely will be. Yeah, way more people will watch. Yeah, unless you're in one of the cities in the lottery with the chance to draft Cooper. Even if you're the teams that don't have a chance at number 1, they're not even going to be watching the lottery. Mahomes is an entire level better than Hurts, but he's been got some hiccups this morning. Yeah. Well, Mahomes is the best quarterback in the NFL. The NBA draft lottery literally determines the future of the Sixers. It does. It literally does. Whoa. All right. Continuing on. My son was playing ball on the playground, and a parent comes and picks him up in a new Escalade and a big University of Alabama decal on the window. What? And my son was playing ball, and a parent comes and picks him up in the new Escalade. What? NBA, did you call the cops that your kid was picked up? You know, I mean, is that an Amber Alert? NBA draft lottery is rigged. That will make sure the Sixers don't. Yeah, they're not going to get a top 7 pick. Oh, Rick, because it's so rigged. Absolutely. Cowboys in Washington accidentally drafted Howie's top 10 visits. You know, all the talk about top 30 visits. I know I did it for 2 straight weeks. Travis, that's all I did was talk about top 10 or top 30 visits. And they didn't draft one of them. What are the odds? What are the odds that that happens? What are the odds that that's the way that all plays out? Take it back. Can't take back his comment when it's the truth, guys. It's literally the truth. I would like Phil to build on his theory the NFC is better than the AFC. Bills, Bengals, Chiefs. Chiefs didn't get any better. Bengals didn't get much better. The Bills didn't get any better. The Ravens didn't get any better. The Lions got better. The Commanders got better. The Cowboys got better. The Eagles got better. 49ers will be healthier, so in turn, probably be a little bit better. I think overall, the NFC got better than the AFC did. Who the Eagles meet with at the NFL Scouting Combine is great. Turns out that that's the case, guys. Didn't think it was, but it turns out it is. I won't take it back. I agree with you. We're on the same page on this one, Rick. We don't often agree, but when we do, watch out, world, when Rick and I are on the same page. It was a relative of Jihad Campbell. I live in, okay, gotcha. Just saying, you said your kid was playing and an Escalade picked them up. That's what I'm asking. The way I read your comment, Nooms, to me it reads like your kid was picked up by somebody in Escalade. That's all. I think the AFC has more top shelf teams, but the NFC is better in general. I think more teams got better, K1, in the NFC than they did in the AFC. How the Cowboys got better. The early part of their draft got better. I can't always remember. I got to pull it up on my screen here. Give me 10 seconds here. Tyler Booker will help their offensive line. Easy D will help their edge rush for sure. Jaden Blue will be their best running back this year. They're going to law of averages. They still got CeeDee Lamb, Dak Prescott, Micah Parsons. They're going to be a better team this year. I'm not saying the Cowboys are going to be better than the Eagles or even compete for the division with the Eagles and the Commanders. The Cowboys got better. I mean, that's a fan thing talking there. I would be willing to bet there's more correlation with who the Eagles meet at the Senior Bowl and Combine. It seems like that this year. The numbers don't lie, though, in the top 30 visits. I mean, Devontae Smith and Andre Dillard were the only two non-top 30 visits that we drafted in the first round in the last, 5 years, entering this year. And I think it was 9 of the last 16 draft picks coming in this year were top 30 visits over the last, 2 years. So there were stats to back up the top 30 theory. But this year, screwed that all up. Should shout out to K1, keep wearing your crown, King. Oh, shout out. Bill signed a field-stretching wide receiver. Who? Sorry, I didn't pick up my son up. See, details matter, Nooms. If you reread your comment, it sounds like someone in Escalade picked up your son. And I was a little worried that you didn't call the cops on that. I was going to put out an Amber Alert for your kid, but details matter, and the words you say, and the words you choose. I am so signed out of basketball that I don't care who the Sixers are getting. I'm just happy the Lakers lost to the Timberwolves last night and lost that series in 5. Didn't watch the game, but saw that, and that was very exciting for me to see happen because anything to watch the Lakers lose is great. Anything to see LeBron James lose and cry and flop is great. I think Eagles will beat Bills, but they got a lot better. Cowboys have no running backs and just one receiver. Well, they drafted Jaden Blue, who's somebody that a lot of Eagles fans wanted to draft. But, yeah, they still don't have a running back, proven running back. Eric is still king of the court. Absolutely. He's not the king, K1. Eric is the gatekeeper. NFC, not like Bryce has a star wide receiver now. Bryce is. Everybody's predicting Bryce, or not Bryce, sorry, Jane Daniels to fall backwards. I disagree. Yeah, Eric is the king of the core, the gatekeeper's gatekeeper, right. Cowboys are a terrible example. Johan Rojas is getting pretty good baseball bite against Lessing pitching. Yeah, look, maybe something too, playing every day instead of platooning helps you get into a rhythm, Nooms. Helps make things easier when you know you're going to see your name in the lineup every day. Got a little concerned when he slid into second last night. stealing a base, and it looked like he got hurt. Turns out he just knocked the wind out of him, but that concerned me a little bit. Also, again, last night, How's Bryce not every day in the lineup, still getting benched in platoon situations against lefties, like 2 nights ago, and he comes in and makes a big play at the end of that game. And then last night has another huge 2-for-5 night, plays great defense. Bryson Stott should not sit the rest of the year unless he's injured. But we know the computer will tell Rob Thompson what to do. Bold prediction: Kyle McCord shocks everyone during training camp and preseason. Were you the one that said he's going to lead the team in passing in the preseason? I want to bring up Kyle McCord because, obviously the Falcons, the punishment for the prank call to Shedeur Sanders came out. Falcons were fined $250,000 as a team. Their defensive coordinator, Jeff Ulbrich, was fined $100,000, all because Ulbrich's kid, prank called, Shedeur Sanders. I guess Jeff left his iPad open and the kid stole the phone number. Kyle McCord got prank called. Abdul Carter got prank called. Prank calls happen every single year to these kids, multiple times. I think McCord said he got like 7 prank calls. But because Shedeur Sanders fell in the draft and it was such a big deal all over TV, we got to find the Falcons. I could buy $350,000 for it. Setting a precedent that now anybody that gets prank called, you got to find them now. It's a good way, yep. Eric is the best. The Lehigh Valley Iron Pigs have an on-base percentage of .366, okay. Booker T or Tyler said he wants to say hi to 98. Yeah, I don't know why you would call out Jalen Carter. I don't know why you would do that, Travis. Why in the world would you try to call out Jalen Carter? Like, in what realm of world do you want a bullseye on you from Jalen Carter? Like, it makes 0 sense to me why Booker would do that. $100K for the DC is it's hilarious. It's hilarious. Yeah, I mean, maybe he should put the lock screen on his iPad, his work iPad. Sure, let's not leave classified documents in a public room like that. But it happens. He didn't do it, other than leave it open. His son did it. Whatever. That shit happens all the time. And honestly, if his name wasn't Shedeur Sanders, or if it happened and Shedeur Sanders was taken in the second round, the fine wouldn't have happened. I firmly believe that. There's definitely a patience preaching going on in the organization. Clantek always would preach about controlling the plate. Patience? I mean, I don't know. Watched one at bat from Bryce Harper last night, and he swung at 3 straight pitches that practically bounced to the home plate. I don't know, that was patience last night that I saw from Bryce Harper. I watched the Gruden on McCord. He's a smart kid and football IQ is high. Good arm. Yeah, I mean, he's the 4th-string quarterback. Has a chance to compete with DTR for the 3rd-string role. That's it. I'm not worried or excited or concerned or even slightly focused on him at all. Like, if we have to see him at all in a regular season game, shit's really hit the fan. 366 for the team is very high. It is. It is. Why don't we find Phil at this point? What are you going to find me for? I mean, I do whatever I want to do. I'm going to find you. As a Philly vernacular, I understood what you meant. If it was a kidnapping, you would send profanity, use profanity. Yeah, true. I noticed it right away, mister, and I just thought I would, point it out. Because as they like to say, details matter. Because details do matter. I understood what he meant. We all understood what he meant. But, again, paging all the way up here to pull it up again. I had a lot of comments I've gone through here already. What he meant and what he said, 2 totally different things. Because, again, details matter. Saints stink. They got rookie. Yeah, look, I don't really care about the Saints at all. All Booker said was that he was excited to go up against good players like John Carter, didn't he? Yeah, it's all he said. But again, what he said kind of puts a target on him. John Carter's going to want to welcome him to the NFL, so to speak. Oh, you want to go one-on-one against me? Well, how do you feel now while you're on your back and I'm on top of your quarterback right now? It's basically kind of how I see it playing out. Yeah, I did. I went grammar. I love the grammar police. I do. Right decision or not, I'm a Jordan Davis fan. Got to give my love to those defensive line horses. Just hope he keeps his cardio up. What's up, Freddie? How you doing today? Yes, it was the right decision on Jordan Davis. It absolutely was the right decision. If you couldn't get him to sign a cheap extension. Now, will he be able to keep his cardio up? Will he be able to increase his snap count? That's all I want. I don't need more numbers on his stat sheet. I need more snaps on his snap sheet. Or his stat sheet. Kellen Moore will take Shaw Rookie of the Year. I don't know about that. I'm hoping he takes I'm hoping he takes Tanner McKee for a draft pick from us, but that's another subject. Falcons got better. Penix and that rusher, but lost Garnett. Look, I don't think the Falcons got better. Somebody said Penix is pretty good. I think it was Dives yesterday. I'm not buying the Michael Penix. If Cleveland didn't and Dion came in the Eagles and start yapping building, he should get sacked by Ty Robinson. Look, I really, truly believe that Shedeur Sanders was coming to the Eagles if the Cleveland Browns didn't take him there. Really, truly believe that. I do. I didn't want him here, but I really, truly believe that is a classic Howie Roseman move. Tampa will always be mid with Baker. I mean, they're better than mid. Misplaced by pronouns. Yeah. Pronouns matter, right? Panthers will be much better. I don't know about much better, but they will be better. Maybe is. What do the 49ers do with Purdy? I mean, he's still due this extension. Still hasn't gotten the extension. I heard somebody on one of the TV channels yesterday talking about how he's going to get $50 million a year. I don't know. 49ers are going to fall to pieces when Purdy gets paid. I really think that. Jordan Davis is one of my remaining mids. I don't think he's mid. I think that's a stretch. I enjoy watching Phil mispronounce. I knew somebody was going to say that. I don't know how to. Why am I supposed to know how to pronounce the New Orleans Saints rookie quarterback? I still can't pronounce Bazudenhoot. I should have Bazudenhooted, known that K1 was going to make a comment like this. Fan, when he's on the field, he is impactful. His problem is he needs to stay in longer and more snaps. That's it. Exactly. He's never going to have 10 sacks in a season or 80 tackles. He just needs to keep doing what he's doing, just more of it, more frequently of it. That's it. Would Shedeur be upgrade from Stop. Purdy is mid. That we could agree on. Purdy should get his bag. He's gotten to the Super Bowl. He's been productive and has proven he can lead that team. He can. I think he's a good leader. But is he a $50 million a year leader? He did get that team to the Super Bowl. It wasn't a huge amount of talent, but there's talent on that team. I think he deserves to get paid. I'm not saying he shouldn't. And the 49ers have backed themselves into a corner where they have to. But $50 million? Is he worth a 5-year, $250 million contract? I don't know. It's pronounced Shuck. How is it pronounced Shuck when it's spelled Shough? Like, OU is not U, and GH is not pronounced CK. Like, there's no way that that's the way it should be, okay? No way would I pay Purdy. Well, what do? You let him walk? I mean, it's kind of crazy. For a free pizza 10 years ago, I pulled up behind a car in, I can't read that, Acme. The back of the SUV had an Iowa decal and a Doak Walker Award winner decal right under it. What player was this? No clue. Not even going to try to Google that. If Vikings think J.J. McCarthy is good, they in denial land? I mean, they think that. Bears do stink. I still think Caleb Williams is overrated. Love is a game manager worse than Hurts. Love is not better than Hurts. I know that. Lions are very good. Absolutely. We're just going over every team now. Shedeur has a lot to prove, and in Cleveland, to a place where he can win. He is going to be quarterback one to start the year. Shedeur Sanders will start game one. I firmly believe that. Say show with a southern accent, you get shucked. I don't know about that. It still should not be pronounced. I think that annoys me more than any name pronunciation. There's no way his name should be pronounced Shuck. Mitchie Poo, what's up, guys? For Mitchie Poo, hit that like button, hit that share button, and of course, subscribe, like, share, subscribe. Started at 513 subscribers, so let's go. Make sure we're hitting those buttons, guys. There should be at least 15, 20 likes on this video right now, and I'm sure there's probably not even 12. I would let Purdy hit the market and see if a team was dumb enough to pay him. A team would be dumb enough to pay him, Anthony, without a doubt. There's a lot of bad quarterback plays and a lot of big quarterback holes in this league. Brock Purdy's played in a Super Bowl, plain and simple. So you got to give him credit for that to an extent. So the question is, how much is he worth? I don't know. I mean, I'm glad I don't have to make that decision. Glad I don't have to make that decision. But you let him walk, then what do you do? Bazoo morning to Mitchie Poo. To prevent blue balls, you shuck one out. I'm a fact checker, are you? I'm not fact checking you, not at all. Scotty, Seattle Darnold, yeah, I mean, I feel bad for Sam Darnold. I honestly do. Rams are good. I predicted the Rams to be good last year. We're literally going team by team with your one-word answer opinions. I love it. Jimmy G took the Niners to a Super Bowl too. That is true. That is true. That is true. Jimmy Garoppolo, the ultimate backup quarterback in the NFL. NFC, Eagles, Lions, Rams, Washington. I mean, I would go Eagles, Lions, Washington, Rams. I don't know if I'd put anybody above the Rams or not. Not really sure there on that. But anyway, guys, you're watching Trending the AM right here on the STT Sports Network. We're talking about Eagles' weaknesses. Somehow we got into the New Orleans Saints and the 49ers talk as well. But we're talking all things NFL. Talking all things Eagles weaknesses-wise. And obviously I want to bring the Phillies into the conversation as well. A very comfortable 7-2 victory last night. Cristopher Sanchez looking healthy. But, guys, before we talk anything else, before any more comments, if you haven't already, you need to hit that like button. If you haven't already, share it out on at least one social media platform. And if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button. I'd greatly, greatly appreciate it, guys. Let's keep this rolling along. Purdy lost his weapon. CMC done. I don't know if CMC is done. If CMC is healthy, he's going to continue to lead them on playoff marches. CMC is right there when healthy with Saquon Barkley. He's one of the best running backs in football. I got one more subscriber. We started at 513. Are we at 514 now? No, we're still at 513. We did not gain one more subscriber today. We started at 513. We're still at 513. The answer to that question is Winslow High School and Jets running back Sean Green, no pizzas. I don't even know who Sean Green is. Am I saying Sean? Is it Sean Green? Sean Green? I don't know. Packers and commies are about equal per Vegas betting. Are they? Look, I think this year the Packers have a chance of being better. Last year, my point on the Packers was they had talent, but they were inexperienced. They got more experience, so in theory, the Packers could be better this year. They now have 47 number 2 wide receivers, no elite wide receiver. I'm not sure what their defense did this offseason. But the Packers are going to be a good football team. The Packers, not the Vikings, will be number 2 in that division behind the Lions. The Commanders are still going to push the Eagles. Lack of veteran on D. That has been the main talk of the town today, Travis, on the biggest weakness on the Eagles. Not a specific player, not a specific position. The talk of the town today has been a lack of veterans on this defense. Who's going to be the leader, the vocal leader? And not just the leader, but every team has multiple leaders, right? But every team always has that one leader, one experienced leader. That guy that can point to his resume and be like, you're going to listen to what I say Because look at X, Y, and Z, what I've done in the past. Who's going to be that guy? Can Jalen Carter do that after 2 years in the league? Can Zach Bond do that after one All-Pro year? I don't know. I don't know who that vocal leader is going to be on the defense. Who's going to replace Brandon Graham and Darius Slay? Leadership-wise. We know Keely Ringo is going to replace Darius Slay at this point. We know they brought in a combination of guys on the outside to replace Brandon Graham. Those guys aren't replacing the leadership factor. Was a running back from Iowa. I learn something new every day. I think Jordan Love can be a very good 9 through 15 quarterback for a majority of his career. Sanchez was off with breaking stuff last night. He needs to work on that, and I hope he is healthy. I didn't get to see a lot of Sanchez. I saw the stat line. I got home around the 5th or 6th inning last night from work, watched the end of the game on TV. I was listening to it at the shop, but wasn't paying close attention to it. I'm just glad that Sanchez pitched, came out healthy, came out clean. The bullpen was able to get 4 innings of clean baseball. I'm looking now. Actually, the bullpen didn't give up a single hit or walk. So they literally completely clean 4 innings from the Phillies bullpen. Is a big deal because that doesn't happen very often with our bullpen. Purdy did pretty well last season considering the talent loss and injuries. I don't like Purdy's game, but when given the opportunity, stepped up. Give the man his bag. Niners being weaker is good. Yeah, I mean, look, he's deserved his bag. And the 49ers have backed themselves in the corner that they have to give him a bag. Would I be comfortable? Would I put Brock Purdy in my top 10 quarterbacks in the NFL? No. But he's going to get paid. He's not going to get a deal that puts him in the top 5 quarterbacks paid, but he's going to be in the top 10 or 12 quarterbacks paid. If Daniel Jones got $40 million a year, Brock Purdy's worth $50, right? Howie manages the salary cap by keeping the defense young on rookie contracts. Howie pays offensive players big money. Well, he's going to have to pay some big defensive money in the coming years, mister. He's going to have to pay Jalen Carter, Nolan Smith, Quinion Mitchell, Cooper DeJean. So that's going to shift in about 2 years. But again, I brought it up earlier. The Cam Jurgens extension. The breakdown was released by Spotrac yesterday. Where all the money is, the cap hits, the dead cap hits, if they decide to move on from him, all the numbers combined. It's a thing of genius. It's a genius thing when you look at Cam Jurgens' contract. So there will always be money to pay, whether it's offense or defense. And Howie will always figure out how to pay all the guys. If you're an elite stud that he drafted, he's not going to let you walk until you get to the 30s. Offense wins championship regardless what your uncle told you. Yeah, it's true. It's true. We did put up 40 in the Super Bowl. How much did we put up against the Commanders? Forget. What was it, like 50? What point investing in quarterbacks if you know their ceiling? It's a fair question. That's actually a fair statement, but because it's a quarterback-driven league, Memphis, and you've got to have a quarterback to sell your fan base. You got to have a quarterback to win. It's a quarterback-driven league. I got you, K1. Got you. Did we win the Super Bowl because of the offense, or did we win because Jalen Carter slapped the taste out of Kermit the Frog's mouth? Oh, love it, love it, love it. Love the comment, Defo. 55-23. I knew it was something like that. Couldn't remember the exact number this morning. But yes, fair, good quick pull there. JD, 5-year, just said there will be no running in the hall. Well, we got the core of our defensive line now. The defensive tackles locked up for the next 2 years now. JD, Jalen Carter, Moro Jomo still on a rookie deal, and now Ty Robinson. Those 4 guys will be here together for 2 years. So the interior of this defensive line is locked solid and dominant for the next 2 years. And you love to see it. I just want to see a little bit more out of Jordan Davis. That's it. And I want to see if Jalen Carter can take the next step leadership-wise. Now, I know Jalen Carter talked about wanting to be the leader on this team. He wanted to replace Fletcher Cox. But there were still, even last year, some maturity issues. Obviously, early in the season, he was benched for the starting drive of a game because of meeting lateness or something like that. I want to see the evolution of Jalen Carter, the leader, Jalen Carter, the man, the person going into this season. That's what I want to see from Jalen Carter. I really thought JT put Hernandez and Banks in a better position with the pitch calls yesterday and the pen hit their spots. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that had something to do with it. And GT Real Muto hit a home run last night too, you know. If I want to talk Phillies, I want to talk. It's so hard to talk Phillies, and the topic I want to talk Phillies today because they won, and they've won 4 in a row. But if you look at the graphic of the show, there's a picture of Trey Turner with the word underrated and a question mark underneath it. And after the night before, the extra inning win, I really was starting to think about Trey Turner and how overrated he might be. And he might be the most overpaid player on the Phillies. Is Trey Turner one of the top 5 most overpaid players in all of Philadelphia sports right now? Right there with Paul George and Joel Embiid? Very possibly. He is very, very good football player. And the thing with Jalen Carter is he only played 2 years in the NFL so far. He still has the opportunity to get much, much better. And Jordan Davis isn't as mid as the mid MZ. It's not TMZ, it's mid MZ. You're mid. Your Bills are mid. He loves to just throw that word around there. Like I don't get it. Like you're mid, you're mid, you're mid, you're mid, you're mid, you're mid. Everybody's mid. Whatever. I don't care. It don't matter to me. But anyway, yeah, I wanted to talk about Trey Turner. And is Trey Turner one of the most overpaid players in Philadelphia sports today? He's over $300 million contract. Another post. He doesn't produce like a $300 million man. Makes a lot of mistakes. I think it's hot, goes 4 for 4 one day. But then the defense fails. Gets hot, then gets cold. We haven't seen that Captain America type role like he had with Team USA. Trey Turner might be the most overrated player, or most overpaid player, and he's definitely a little overrated in Philadelphia. Makuba is the Smitty on defense. Undersized guy, Travis. The more and more we get past the draft, Travis, the more and more I learn about Drew, because he wants to be called Drew, not Andrew. The more and more I start to love the pick of Makuba. Again, everybody knows I wanted Malachi Starks. That was my top pick for the draft that I wanted. Knew we weren't going to get, but wanted. But the more and more I deal with or look into it, I'm loving it. Now the question still remains about Reed Blankenship on the defense and the safety. What you do with him? Why doesn't he have an extension at this point? Is Makuba the future of the safety room? And Reed Blankenship will be gone soon. Do they still add to the safety room? Justin Simmons, that name is going to be thrown out until he signs somewhere. I wouldn't pay him personally. Stop. Jalen Carter is a vindictive, angry player. He only hit Mahomes in the face mask for retaliation. I've never been a big Trey Turner fan. Nationals fans like him now. But he was a massively frustrating player for Washington. Yeah, I mean, I think I might be on something that he might be the most overpaid player in Philadelphia sports at this point, based off of production, based off of his accomplishments in his career. I pray Bills play Eagles. Yeah, so we can whoop some ass. Of course he wants to be called Drew. That is cool. Andy is the kid from Toy Story. Gotcha. I like that. Good. I didn't expect a Toy Story reference on the show today. We'll be talking about Justin Simmons 5 years. Probably. Like, I hate this. Eagles fans, Phillies fans, Sixers fans, probably Flyers fans. We always want a player. We don't get him. Then we want him the next year. Then we get him 5 years too late. Drives me nuts how fans latch onto a player for years. They want him. There's a reason why we didn't get him last year. There's a reason why we still haven't gotten him this year. I don't think Justin Simmons makes us any better. And honestly, all the weaknesses this team has. I'm gonna mention another weakness in a second here. You got a friend in me. You got a friend in me. I heard they're doing a Toy Story 5, and it's gonna be focused around Jesse. Just so you know, Toy Story knowledge right there for you. I was looking at wide receivers, free agents the other day, because I think wide receiver depth is actually an issue for the Philadelphia Phillies. That fifth, sixth wide receiver spot still could be an issue in my opinion. But then I started going position by position, top available free agents. There ain't much out there. So if there's any weaknesses on this team, safety, edge, cornerback, wide receiver, running back depth, guard depth, there ain't nobody out there at this moment. There isn't. I mean, wide receiver room. Are you going to bring back Nelson Aguilar and Britton Covey? They're your two most realistic options if you want an extra wide receiver. The third best guard available right now, in my opinion, is probably Jack Driscoll, which actually would make sense, actually, with his experience here in Philadelphia and Jeff Stoutland, but that's another whole subject. There ain't many players available at any position right now. Just like the Honey Badger. Fans have wanted him for years. Yeah, exactly. I should have stopped. I haven't seen Toy Story 4, so, I stopped after Toy Story 3. How about the reports that the Flyers are going to sign Rick Tock as their next head coach? I see a lot of arguing amongst Flyers fans online. Some very for it, some very against it. Personally, I'd go outside the organization. I wouldn't go with somebody that's been attached to this organization in the past. That would be me, Anthony. I want a young coach. I want to go to whoever the best team in the NHL is right now for the last 3 years, and I honestly don't even know who the best team over the last 3 years is, and get their top assistant coach. That is who I would get. That's what I would do. Get the top assistant on the best team over the last 3 years and go there. Got a young team, get a young upstart coach. That's what I would do. I don't know if this is an accurate statement, but I'm not going to fact check you, Mitch. If your facts say I'm legendary, then I am. Look, I saw 97.5 had a job posting for a full-time host. I shouldn't have to apply for that job. I'm legendary, according to Mitch. 97.5 should reach out to me and let me take over the afternoon show, which is its new name now. Could you imagine me on the radio? K1, could you imagine me mispronouncing Shoe, Tyler Shoe or Shuck on the radio? Could you imagine me trying to pronounce Bazoon Hoot on the radio? Pretty crazy. It would be hilarious, though. Anthony, I hope not. You're bringing Tockett. You're reaching for nostalgia. Exactly. I am against it personally. I don't know what he's been doing the last few years of his career. But, yeah. Yeah. I don't know what your yeah in, Travis, but I'll just give you a yeah. Justin Crawford is the son of Carl Crawford. Is he? I'm not going to fact check that. Not sure about that. Phil just gave an example of what went wrong. I love it, Duck. That is absolutely accurate. I just interviewed for the 97.5 job opening the way Shedeur Sanders did. Pretty much. Love it. Hilarious comment right there. The chat is legendary. The chat isn't legendary on hitting the like button. They aren't legendary on hitting the share button. I'm hoping they've all subscribed. But like, share, subscribe. Let's go, because we got about 25 minutes left today. The last thing the Flyers need is either someone else from the Alumni Boys Club or a retread guy who won the Cup 10, 20 years ago. Yeah. I don't know if Shaw's the answer or not. I just say go get who, Anthony, Freddie, who has been the most consistently great team over the last 3 to 4 years. Pick their top assistant. Don't even care what the name is. Just do that. Go get me a guy from a winning organization that understands the game today. Belichick got a smoke show. The whole Belichick situation. I saw Belichick's statement posted yesterday, and you know that statement wasn't written by him. It was written by her. Look, I have nothing against Belichick dating a 24-year-old girl. You know what? You're 75, whatever he is. You're single. You want to have fun. Cool. That's your prerogative. I think the situation in public is a little awkward. I think the interview is awkward. How she's hanging around at UNC is awkward. But do I have a problem with him dating a smoke show at 75 now? Cool, man. Have fun. Why not? That's right. It's always why. I feel like a crossing guard going like this, or one of those flaggers trying to wave you through a construction site. I hope she takes everything Bill has, leaves him penniless. I don't. That's not going to happen. They're not going to get married, Anthony. Hell, they might not even be together in a year from now. They're both having fun. They both know what it is. They're both getting something financially out of it. She's getting, plenty out of it financially. He's probably getting something else out of it. Look, it's all good. Everybody should be allowed to have fun in their life. Someone needs to get an elder's check. No, let them have fun. That team is probably the Avalanche, the team that drafted. I don't know that, but okay. So who's the top assistant on the Colorado Avalanche? Go get him. Belichick about to kick bucket soon. I don't know if he's going to kick the bucket. Let's not wish death on anybody. But hey, you're going to go out on top, right? Belichick is going to trade her in for the next model soon enough. Sure, why not? Have fun, enjoy it. People are criticizing him nonstop, not for the cringeworthy interview, for the fact that he's dating a 24-year-old. Yeah, it's weird. It's creepy a little bit. But you know what? Two consenting adults, whether they're the same age, a year apart, or 50 years apart. Consenting adults. They're not cheating. He's not married. Yes, she might be younger than his kids. But they're two consenting adults that both know what's going on. They're both using each other for something. Bill Belichick is a smart man. He knows she's using him. But guess what? He's using her too. Good for him. Whatever. I haven't seen Bill Belichick smile more than he's been smiling in the last couple of months. Bill just wants, everybody just wants, I love having fun. I'm not wishing death to the old. Father Time is undefeated. He's 75. It's a new 65. When I was 24, no way I was dating a 76-year-old woman. I don't care how much money she has. It's different that way. I will say this. I've dated some older women. I mean, my wife's older than me, but not that much. The oldest girl I ever dated was like 20 years older than me. But we'll just leave that on the side there. Panthers have been in the Stanley Cup Finals the last 2 years, I believe. Go poach their guy. Go for it. Go for it. Go poach one of their assistants, Anthony. What if you're Bill? Check. What? I'm sorry, I don't get that. Flyers should seriously consider hiring Sullivan. He won 2 Stanley Cups for the Penguins. No more retread old Flyers. Great. I like Tocchet, but he's got less than a dozen playoff wins. I'm out on Rick Tocchet just because he's a former Flyer. He's part of the Flyers club. I don't want anybody from the Flyers club. It's like he's part of what they call it on Saturday Night Live, the Five Timers Club. It's part of the Five Timers Club. I don't want Five Timers Club here. Rich man problems. Belichick is a rich man. He is. Must be good to have those kind of problems. If you can find a way to bag a few million with the fossil, it's better pay than most jobs. Sure. And you know what? He's getting something out of it too. If you think Bill Belichick ain't getting something out of this relationship, then you're lying to yourself. So I got no problems with it. I've got no problems with it. Now, that interview was cringe. But now Bill Belichick did talk about that interview was clipped up. And they made him seem a lot worse than he did. So there is that aspect of it as well. Oh, I was Belichick. Yeah, I mean, she was like 20. I was 22, 23. She was like 44, 45, something like that. I rallied my dentist when I was 19, and she was in her mid-40s. We went to a Leonard Skinner ZZ Top concert. Yeah, we all remember those certain nights, Rick, in our youth, don't we? We all remember those nights in our youth. I mean, I remember them. I do. We all have those. Why not? I mean, everybody's got a MILF at some point. I won't get into what went wrong in mine, but, whatever. Yeah, I don't know about that. All right, we're coming up to the final 20 minutes of the show today. Let's get back on track. Let's get off the MILFs. Let's get off of the dating scene. Let's get back to the Eagles, their weaknesses. Let's get back to Phillies talk. The Phillies do go tonight. Taijuan Walker looking for the sweep of the Nationals. Taijuan Walker looking to make it 5 in a row for the Phillies after a 5-game losing streak. Again, I brought it up. No one commented. The biggest weakness, or one of the biggest weaknesses on this Eagles team, is wide receiver depth. Obviously, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Jahan Dotson. But after that, you got Anais Smith, Johnny Wilson, and nothing else. I think the Philadelphia Eagles need another wide receiver. They need the Paris Campbell type on their team. And honestly, wouldn't hate them bringing back Nelson Aguilar, who I mentioned his name a few minutes ago. Phil lost her Social Security check. She got mad. What? No, not getting Social Security at 44, 45 years old. Honestly, don't even remember how old she was. But guys, there's most people watching right now, so please like, share, subscribe. Would appreciate it. I don't know either. Look, we're all over the place. So I'm trying, Rick. I'm trying to focus it back onto the main topics. I'm trying to make the main thing the main thing. How do teachers in Florida keep getting nabbed for betting their students? Are they that stupid? I don't know. I don't know any of that stuff. I don't know what's going on with any of that, honestly. So, whatever. I'm trying to keep the main thing the main thing. I'm trying to stay focused on football, focused on baseball. Hell, focus on basketball if you want. I don't really care. The only thing that we started this conversation around was because of the Bill Belichick situation, and that, hey, I got no problem with him at all. It's content. Is it content? I don't know. Let's talk about how the Phillies will choke this season away. I mean, you're just trying to rile up Rick with that comment. That's all you're trying to do, Mitchie Poo. You're just trying to fire up the Rickmeister with that comment. Look, Phillies are who they are. 500 baseball team since mid-June of last year. They're a baseball team that's got the same problems this year as they had last year. The Phillies are the same team that they've always been. Inconsistent. I know it. The first comment after I posted is from Rick. I know it. A.J. Dillon is a 50-50 so running back. I think the Eagles have a running back depth issue too, Travis. I wrote down the top 5 names on the free agent running back list. Gus Edwards, Nyheim Hines, J.K. Dobbins, Cam Akers, and former Eagle Trey Sermon. But behind Saquon, you got Will Shipley and A.J. Dillon. And behind that, you got a bunch of practice squatters and rookies. Not even drafted rookies, undrafted rookies. Something happens to Saquon Barkley, you're screwed. So do the Eagles need to bring in a depth piece at wide receiver and running back? I think they do. A.J. Dillon is depth if he's even healthy enough to play. And remember, he hasn't played since November of 2023. It's been a long time. Been a long time, been a long time, been a long time. What are the odds that Rob Thompson gets fired this season? Do you want my sarcastic answer or my real answer, Mitchie Poo? My sarcastic answer is 0. Because, everybody loves Uncle Rob. Realistically, the Phillies will need to be a 500 team at best on June 1st. June 1st is kind of like the point where they would consider moving one way or another. Okay. If that's another, 30 games from now, they're now 17-13. So if they're 30-30, stay on June 1st, somewhere around 30-30 on June 1st. Okay. A little past the third way point. It will be a topic of conversation for sure. But if they're 33-27, 35-25, he's not getting fired. And he'll get fired after the year when they lose in the NLDS. If Jack's first, in Jeff Foxworthy voice, if you trash the Phillies when they lose and trash the Phillies when they win, I'm not trashing them today. I've done nothing but compliment the Phillies for yesterday's victory. They missed the playoffs, yes. They go out in one series, yes. I'm talking more midseason. But yes, if they don't win a World Series, if they don't make the World Series, I think Rob Thompson's fired. I think making the World Series and losing, he's around. But I think if they don't make the World Series, Rob Thompson gets fired. If Hurts goes down, the Eagles will. I'm going to censor you by not addressing this. I'm just going to post it and move on. So you call that censoring. You might be a Phil fan. Bill Belichick divorced his wife 30 years ago in 2006. She must have broke his pockets in alimony. That's why he wears torn hoodie. Dude, that was probably the most cringe thing on the entire interview, was the fact that he showed up to an interview with a ripped hoodie. Like, dude, what's up with that? What? I like DTR, but he isn't good enough to win a Super Bowl. Yeah. Sounds like the same Eagles fans this past season when they start 2-2. Not so much, because I was perfectly fine with the Eagles after 2-2. I never wanted to move on. I saw the potential in the Eagles. I had hype for the Eagles. Some reason I don't have that hype for the Phillies. You can make the argument, Rick, if you want to, that I'm very contradictory, because, and then I'm contradicting myself, because for as average as the Eagles were, I never lost faith. And for as average as the Phillies are, I lost faith before they even started. So you can say I'm a very contradictory person with that. The way I feel versus Phillies versus the Eagles really, is I admit it. It's kind of weird. When I say it out loud, I understand how weird it sounds. It's just that gut feeling. Just like you have your gut feelings, I got my gut feeling. I'm not a fair weather fan. Stop. I'm a passionate fan. I'm a fan that holds people accountable. Not a fair weather fan. If you go to Fox Pizza Den and don't know what oh my God, stop. I see what you're doing. I just don't understand it. Anyway, I'm not a fair weather fan. That upsets me, because I'm not. I'm as passionate as they go. Rick, first tattoo, Phillies tattoo, just so you know. If you didn't know, that was my first tattoo right there. But back to Mitchie Pooh's comment. The odds that Rob Thompson gets fired midseason is very low, because they're not going to lose enough to do that. But they could. The tat is very mid. It was very poorly done. I got it on a vacation in the Outer Banks in a tattoo shop that closed later that summer. It's not the best. I've got 1, 2, 3. I got 5 tattoos. It's definitely the poorest of my 5 tattoos. By a long shot, K1. But it actually means a lot, because it's not just a Phillies tattoo. If you know what the bell is, then it means a lot to me, that tattoo. So it might not be the best tattoo, but it is my favorite tattoo because of the meaning behind it. They're on a 3-game win streak, and y'all bet they're actually not on a 3-game win streak. They're on a 4-game winning streak. So just so you know. Have I bashed the Phillies today? I'm not. I've said nothing but good things about the Phillies today. They are on a 4-game winning streak, not a 3-game winning streak, right? 4-game winning streak, which is following up a 5-game losing streak. But, just to put things in perspective. But I haven't bashed them at all today. I've said nothing but good things about them. Eagles had great leadership and great coaching. Phillies don't have either. That is a fair point. Who's the leaders on this team? Absolutely. No, you didn't. I do. He likes to get fired up about the Phillies. That's the Bell Telephone logo. It absolutely is. My dad spent 24 years working for Bell Telephone before he passed away. So, yes, that is the Bell Telephone logo right there. I got that in honor of my pops. It had to be about him, the first one. If you think Shipley will not be on the battle soon, yeah. It might be a Phillies fan. Is that what you're saying? Is that what you're going for right there? Phillies have some type of winning coaching staff same type of winning coaching staff as the Eagles. This year the Phillies win a World Series. Bank it. See, interesting. I don't know about that, because how is Rob Thompson and Nick Sirianni the same? Rob Thompson doesn't show much emotion. Nick Sirianni wears his emotions on his sleeve. Rob Thompson and Nick Sirianni definitely lead and manage differently, in my opinion, Rick. Definitely lead and manage. And while I am not a Topper fan, you are right. Rob Thompson has been one of the most successful managers in Phillies history, outside of winning a World Series, which only 2 coaches have ever done. So that's fine. But Rob Thompson's leadership style versus Nick Sirianni's is very different. And I think, how do I say this without sounding negative or whatever, I think Nick Sirianni's style resonates with Philadelphia fans more because we're very passionate people. We want fire. We want passion. We want crying. We want tears. We want all that. Rob Thompson's very even-keeled, very level-headed. And that's why their coaching staff are not similar, in my opinion. Bell Telephone, our last legal monopoly. I don't think they had a monopoly because AT&T and what was the other phone company at the time back in the 70s? Bell Telephone actually was part of another company in the early 70s, and they split off and became their own thing. They were the number one, but I don't think they were the monopoly on it per se. Bills fans talking about Eagles players here. Yeah, exactly. Exactly, Rick. Don't worry about the Bills fans, okay? Rob Thompson's Phillies manager is coming to a close. That's being a fan realism. Yeah, I agree, Jonathan. Different personality, but both. That is the only thing that they do the same. Now, one's got a title, one doesn't. But outside of that, I think the thing what I'm trying to get at is, Rick, is that the two coaches, the reason why there's more Thompson hate than Sirianni hate in general is because of their personality styles. We want that passionate coach. We want that emotion. We do. I think that resonates with the basic Philadelphia sports fan a little bit more. Who will be Eagles' number 3 wide receiver this year? It's Dotson. And Dotson's a great wide receiver. Dombrowski will never be Howie Roseman. That is for sure. We're all going to agree on that. Good morning, Todd. Aaron Nola's inconsistency. I feel Aaron Nola will be just fine. His last game was great a couple days ago. Aaron Nola has proven to be one of the best pitchers in Phillies history, Todd. The contract's atrocious probably 2 years from now. But, Todd, I have no worries on Aaron Nola. I think Aaron Nola will right the ship. I think Aaron Nola will be fine. Too much made of the Aaron Nola first 5 games of the year, in my opinion. We went through Rich Kotite, Norman Brayman era. Yeah, that's true. That is true. Vic Fangio is the best DC in the league, and Moore has a really good OC. Plus, Nick is a very good head coach. The Phillies are not like that at all. Kevin Long, yeah, I mean that's another good example. The assistants under Kevin or Thompson are not equal to Nick Sirianni either. Trust me when I tell you, you can't. Yeah, Rick's got thick skin. That is true. It looks like the match from Roseman during interviews let you know something. Looks like the match from Roseman during interviews let you know something. Yeah. Phil's fans need patience. Problem is, we've been patient for 150 years, Rick. I think that's also part of it. I think the Eagles get a little bit of a pass because they got 2 titles in the last 8 years. Philly's got 2 titles in the last 150. Mac McWilliams, because we still have issues in the cornerback room. Not a big Dombrowski fan, but he has won as many championships. That's true. But Dave Dombrowski has come up small the last couple off seasons. And in mid-seasons. He's come up small both in the last couple of years. The hype's there. I mean, Dombrowski, kind of like, I guess the best comparison I can make is to Doc Rivers or Nick Nurse. Guys have won championships and are still living off that early championship success and haven't had it in a long time. I guess is my best Dombrowski. He hasn't evolved. How he has evolved over the years. Has Dombrowski evolved? I don't know. Yeah, every baseball is a sport that you have to have patience. I agree. If Double Mac can hold down the slot, then Cooper could move outside. You know me. I'm not a fan of the idea of moving Cooper DeJean yet outside. Mac is a nice special teams player for now. Probably be a gunner event. Yeah, look, I'm not going to even be close to putting Mac in any starting role just yet. I don't think you can have Mac and Makubo on the same defense too. 2 extremely undersized guys. But that's that. Look, cornerback is still an issue on this team. It's a question mark for sure. Fangio loves this. I absolutely agree, and I love that Fangio loves Coop. And my philosophy has always been, Rick, especially in football, you don't create a hole by making another hole, or you don't fix a hole by creating another hole. And that's why I said it last year. that I was in a part last offseason where I didn't want Cam Jurgens becoming the center. Because Cam Jurgens was playing at a Pro Bowl level at right guard. I know he was drafted to be the center. I know he was being trained to be the center. But I made the argument that he should stay at right guard. Then you slid him over to center. You had a big void left at right guard. Now, Mekhi Becton kind of came out of nowhere. But you still got that hole at right guard. I wouldn't want to move DeJean out of the slot because then who's going to play the slot? Is Harper in a slight slump, in your opinion? Slump? I don't know what he's doing wrong right now. He's become way too aggressive with pitch selection. Like, he's literally swinging at pitches out of the dirt, like in the dirt, so much right now. Well, not bad I watched last night. He literally swung at 3 straight pitches that bounced up to the plate, Todd. And it was kind of frustrating to see. Very frustrating to see. And I don't know what's wrong with him. Now, where I don't know some other guys will get out of their slumps, I fully expect Bryce Harper to break out and break out soon. I thought he was smaller than that. My bad. I thought he was like a $180 or something like that I read. I honestly thought he was like 5'10", like a $180. Jurgens and the Vanilla Gorilla are great friends from their days at Nebraska together. Didn't think about that. Does Jihad beat Trotter Jr. for the starting linebacker? Trotter ain't starting. Let me tell you something. Harper's fine. Have patience. Harper is the only Philly that struggles that I have no doubt will break out of it. Now, why is he struggling, Rick? I don't know. Why is he swinging at so many pitches out of the zone? I don't know. But I fully expect him to be fine. Steen would have been fine at right guard also. It was a position they had a plan to fill that hole. I am sure they have a plan to fill that nickel cornerback role if they want to move Coop. Yeah, I still prefer Coop in the slot, but I think eventually Cooper will be outside because an outside corner gets paid more than a slot corner. Coop's going to want to get paid outside money. So you got to think of it that way as well. But that's that. Yeah, my question is why the struggles? This might be one of the big, and in his time here, he got here, what, 2019? So this is what, his 7th year in Philadelphia? This is his 7th season in Philadelphia. This might be one of the roughest patches I've seen in those 7 years from Bryce Harper, Rick. And I'm not sure why. I don't know about that, but maybe. Maybe Boilermaker or Buttermaker will have to save this season for them. I don't know why Bryce is struggling so much. It definitely is concerning because it's not the type of struggles I'm used to seeing from him or the length of the struggles from him. So that's what I'm concerned about with Bryce Harper. Anyway, guys, we're coming up on the end of the show. If you haven't already, there's only 13 likes on this video. Please like this video. Please share it out. We have not gained any subscribers today. Still sitting at 513. But we are coming up to the final 2 minutes of the show here today. Time to get to work. Time to make the dough. Time to refill my coffee cup. What will we do tomorrow? I don't know. Giving JT rest and letting Marshawn, the backup catcher, play at times will help the O. Bryce needs rest. Does Bryce need rest? Maybe. Oh, my goodness gracious. Isn't the punchline for the Bad News Bears is that they did all that to get to the playoffs and lose in the first playoff series? Did they? I don't even remember. Buttermaker did strike out Ted Williams. Or if you've seen the remake, Mike Schmidt. No, I didn't even see the I am not a Bad News Bears like aficionado, just so you know. So I don't know. But yeah. We're not going to dive down a Bad News Bears rabbit hole or anything like that. All right, so what will we talk about tomorrow? Well, we'll come up with a new narrative, a new way to spin the Eagles conversation. But I think we continue on with this weakness conversation because I think there are still some weaknesses on this team. We'll see if the Phillies can complete the sweep of the Nationals tonight. We'll also get into that. Harper is pouting because I don't know if he's a spoiled brat, but maybe there's something to it. He has been in that conversation with a new contract. So maybe. It's interesting way to end the show with a Bryce Harper's pouting kind of comment there. But guys, please, thank you very much for another great show. Thank you very much for tuning in today, everybody, whether it was for 5 minutes or for the full 90 minutes. Muchas gracias to all of you. But we'll be back tomorrow. More Eagles talk. We'll rephrase it. Instead of weakness, biggest needs of the Eagles will be the way we phrase it tomorrow. So bring in the biggest needs. Bring me the names that you want to see the Eagles consider to bring in. That's what I want to know. And thank you very much, Rick. I'm sure, Rick, you'll be live tonight, right? 10 o'clock on your channel tonight, right? So, guys, make sure you check out Rick's YouTube channel. I'd greatly appreciate if you guys show him some support as well. But, guys, as always, like, share, subscribe, get her done. Let's go. We'll be back tomorrow with another great show. As always, guys, we end it very simply. Go Birds. Bubbles up.